My brother had went to New York back in '85. He had started up a floor business there, working, and decided to go out to him as soon as I could. I was just 17, short of turning 18 by about a month or so, and off out I went, and uh, done the same as everybody else at the time. Just flew out and stayed, and that was it. And I suppose I was there about 4 years before I got a chance to get a green card. I applied for the Morrison visas at the time, and I got lucky enough to get called for one of them. And then that was my first trip back to Ireland after 4 years being out in America, and went back, done the interviews and all that stuff, and managed to get the green card, which was probably the greatest thing that ever happened to me, because you could put down roots here then, and you could really start doing things the right way, and not, everything you weren't worried about every day looking over your shoulder what was going to happen and that kind of thing. As you start off, you go from job to job. Somebody gives you a bit better money, whatever, and better opportunity. You do that, and that was the crack. But yeah, things have really changed a lot since then. Like, sure, none of us paid tax or anything back then. And now, you just can't live like that. It's a complete digital world, and things have changed. So we had no insurance or anything on working back then. Like, the companies, no company had insurance or anything. Very monitored now, and you have to have this and you have to have that, and so the good old days are gone, as they say, and the reality is in. I'd have sympathies for people that tried to get it and just were unlucky. Times change slowly, and it's hard to see times changing in front of you, but it does change. And when you look back, I look back at even at that time, and like before we got the green card, a lot of us had started paying tax, and for the simple reason that we knew that if we ever did get legal, that it would become, an important part of your background check and all this. Like, that was part of it. You had to do that, so that when they checked out if you had employment and stuff like that, you could prove it. I would always tell anybody in that position, you don't realize how trapped you are, how kind of imprisoned you are. When you can't go anywhere, you're always looking over your shoulder. You're kind of living in the shadows, and the best thing you can do is to do whatever it takes to get the green card. And if people have done everything they can, like within reason, I would have sympathy for that person. For absolutely, it's just bad luck and that kind of thing. So the reality is, and I'm in a business that I'm in the floor business, and it's a construction type business, and a lot of people are in the same business as me. Like, you're able to hire pretty much anyone you want. Lads that would be working, and we've all had lads that don't have the papers, but if they have one of these numbers, which you can get, they can work, and nobody will really bother them, and that kind of thing, unless they have some kind of criminal background or somebody's looking for them or whatever. And there's always somebody out there that'll drop a dime on you, as they say, that'll know you. And most of these lads that are working now, like, there's very few left from Ireland coming here anymore, or even very few illegal Irish here anymore. But it's mostly South Americans that are doing it now, like coming up to New York and working and whatever. And, I've not an Ireland work for me in probably 10 years. They just don't exist anymore in the pool of labour that's out there. Not that I wouldn't hire one if I had a chance, but it's just not there.
Mm-hmm.
And so as far as what I'm seeing, where I live, it's north of the city, but I work in the city all the time. And I have like a two-family house down in Ossining, New York there, and like, that's a big South American area, and I know a lot of the people there, and some of them are tenants and whatnot, and they'd tell you different stories. Now, they'd see it on the ground, like there are ICE raids and stuff like that, but they're not coming to gather up. What people are hearing in Ireland is they're coming gathering you off the street like just like that, and that's not actually true. And I don't want to sound like, oh, he's forgot where he's come from now or anything. I'm telling you, the reality of it is the reality is that they're going after, for the most part, people that have problems in their background that most people are not aware of. So it might seem like a normal guy that's walking down the street going to work or coming home from work, but there's more than likely a warrant out for him for something, and that's who they're going after. And look, they could knock on any door in that particular town in Ossining, and they could arrest everybody in the house if they wanted to. But they're not doing that. They're picking people up here and there. Now, some people are getting caught up in it. There's no doubt about it. But I remember back to when I was here illegally. That same thing was going on. And it's just something that stopped happening. I don't know, I suppose probably the late 90s, early 2000s, it kind of slowed down a bit. And then the Obama years, it wasn't near as bad, or through Biden. But now, again, it's gone bananas, like they're really enforcing it. But it was always there. It just the enforcement of it had stopped. The way it was when we came first, it was a completely different story. You were the enemy, and that was for sure. And like even like Irish Americans that turned you in back then, you really had to hide in the shadows. You couldn't say, most people kind of figured, oh, you're white, you speak English, you're probably here legally, and you just let them believe that. It's funny, I was talking to my brother last night from Ireland, and he had lived out here. He was the brother I came out to when I came out. He moved back in 1992, and he had got the Donnelly visa at the time, and he was legal as well. After he'd been here, I suppose, 3 or 4 years too when he got legal, and so he moved home, and he didn't come back for only to visit now and again. But he was saying to me, like, Jesus, I don't know if I'd come out to see now, because there's just so much going on, like. And I said to him, what are you talking about? Like, what are you hearing back there that's going on? And it is amazing. Like, it's a completely two sides of a coin. Like we were. I don't know if I'm not aware of what you're aware of, or maybe I'm blind to it. But for his particular situation, he has nothing to worry about. The paranoia that is creating for what is happening. But I don't think they're picking people off the street just like that, and sending them away to these places down in Texas just for no reason. As I say, there might be a person here and there that gets caught up, but I think that when it all plays out, there is more to the story, which we just seen there recently than appears. And some people want to just kind of ignore that. There's a huge political side to all of this back and forth as well. Again, maybe I'm too close to the flame to see the fire, but I don't see it like the way you're describing. There is a lot more information going around, and I had myself drove mad in the first Trump term. I don't watch the news anymore, and I still get enough information from from the internet and whatever. You just see a story, you read it, but and you have to be careful where you get your information from, and try and get it from both sides of the coin, and try and make your own decision, and open your eyes too, like see what you see around you. But I think if you talk to anybody with a background like myself here, you'll get exactly the same story. And if they're left leaning, you might get a little bit more of a Trump's a bad guy kind of story, and if you're right leaning, you'll get the he's a good guy. But as far as the real story is, I don't see what the stories that you're talking about from the Irish point of view in Ireland, and what you're seeing on Irish news and everything. I don't see that here. It may be that there's where there's smoke, there's fire, blah blah blah. There might be some stories there, but I think there's a massive exaggeration on it, if there is anything there. They're taking a small thing and running with it, and just make them look bad, make Trump look bad, make the right look bad, whatever. Listen, we all got to get up in the morning and go to work, and if somebody cuts your taxes, you're only going to save 500 to 1,000 a year, and if somebody puts your taxes up, you're only going to pay an extra 500 to 1,000. So it's not like any of this is life changing for the average person. But yeah, my opinion is that you're getting a kind of an extreme point of view from both sides, maybe on the real story. It's somewhere in between, maybe. If I was a young Irish lad coming back again, I'd do exactly the same thing as I done when I came here. I wouldn't worry too much about, unless you had kind of settled down here, met somebody, whatever, and you were getting married. Then you got to, play a different game. You can't worry about all the possibilities that could possibly go wrong. Obviously you got to make a decision that you won't end up in a concentration camp for 6 months. But yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. If I was Irish, I'd go to America, go to Canada, go to Australia, wherever the places are that's good and there's work, and go knock yourself out and enjoy it. I just think still this place has so much opportunity. And when you build a life here and you put your roots down, it's kind of hard to, up and leave. Ireland is not the country I left. Can't go and reinvent it. It's never going to be the same. Everything moved forward, and that was the hardest part, I would say, to come to terms with. You can never go home again, as to say. You can go to the place where you came from, but it's not the same. And everybody else has moved on with their lives, and became what they've become, and it's just mostly for family now. And great place to visit, great place to play golf. I love playing golf in Ireland and do golf trips and all that kind of thing. But yeah, I'd say I'm stuck here now. Ireland has definitely changed a lot. It's great to see the financial success, because what I left was very depressing. I suppose it's more like here, actually, in the sense that it's everybody's busy. They're on their way to work. There's traffic like never before. It's just unbelievable. The M50, the fucking everywhere you go, it's a parking lot. And the housing crisis, of course, it's exactly the same here. It is just, people can't afford the rent, blah blah blah. It's a whole different country, but I suppose it's a modern country. So that's all I can say.